This is how to clean a Janome upper line thread cutter mechanism. First, we're going to remove the pressure foot and set it aside. Then the bobbin cover plate, set it aside. We will remove the bobbin. Now we're going to remove the needle plate. Underneath the edge of the open arm, you will find a little button to press down, which will pop the needle plate in the up position. And we will remove our needle plate. And then we will remove our bobbin case. The thread cutter assembly is this portion right over here. You want to be careful that you don't pry on anything while picking out any of the threads, because there are some pretty lightweight pieces of metal in here that you can malform, and if you do that, your thread cutter will likely not function correctly, or it'll have to be replaced. So just be careful. You want to pick out the threads. Sometimes you can use a straight pin with a pair of tweezers to help get around some of the stuff. Just remember, don't force anything. You're just trying to remove any debris that might be in there. And while we're in here, right in the center of this hook, the rotating hook assembly, you'll see a little piece of fuzz down inside of a hole. That little piece of fuzz is not really a fuzz, it's actually an oil wick. And so once in a great while you should put a tiny drop of oil on that oil wick to replenish the oil in the hook stud. So that way you don't have any seizing or any problems with your hook assembly. Anyway, once you've cleaned any of the debris that's in this area out, then we're going to replace all of the parts in reverse order. I'm going to show you these two little red marks here, little red arrows right there and right there. Those are to help you align the bobbin case once you put the bobbin case back in place. This ensures that your bobbin case is installed correctly, provided that this little red arrow is facing this little red arrow. You can see how they're aligned. Now we're going to replace our needle plate. If you notice, there are two tips here. They're going to tuck underneath this side of the top plate of your open arm. Slide those underneath till it's flush on this side, and then press down. Our needle plate is now installed correctly, and now we're going to put our bobbin in our bobbin case. It's important to pull a little bit of thread just to make sure that you have the bobbin installed correctly, and your bobbin should be turning counterclockwise. It's very important that it turns counterclockwise, because if it turns clockwise, if you put it in and it's turning clockwise, what happens is that the thread, the tail of the bobbin thread, can walk right out of the bobbin thread tension assembly. So you don't want that to happen. That'll give you loops on the top of your fabric. So we're going to pull this in and into our thread cutter. By making this big loop into the thread cutter, you're going to give enough tail so that you will complete your first stitch when you start sewing. We're going to put our bobbin cover plate back on, and then we're going to put our pressure foot back on, and we are now ready to sew on our Janome.